After nearly half a millennium of colonial rule, first under Spain, and later the United States, Manuel Roxas became the first president of the independent Third Republic. The country faced immense challenges, rebuilding from the destruction of World War II, reviving the economy, and asserting a new national identity. Roxas' administration laid the foundation for economic recovery with the Bell Trade Act, which tied the Philippine economy closely to the United States, but was criticized for favoring American businesses. He also oversaw the rehabilitation of infrastructure, although corruption and political violence remained concerns. His successor, Elpidio Quirino, continued reconstruction and instituted social welfare programs, but his administration was plagued by issues of corruption and internal rebellion, especially from the Hukbalahap movement, a communist insurgency born out of wartime resistance. Ramon Magsaysay, known as the champion of the masses, brought a populist touch to the presidency. He gained popularity for fighting corruption, promoting land reform, and improving rural infrastructure. His military campaign against the Huks significantly reduced the insurgency, and his administration was seen as a model of integrity and pro-poor governance. After his untimely death in a plane crash in 1957, Carlos P. Garcia assumed office and introduced the Filipino First policy, prioritizing Filipino businesses over foreign interests. Diosdado Macapagal, elected in 1961, shifted the country's Independence Day from July 4 to June 12 to honor Emilio Aguinaldo's 1898 declaration. He worked on anti-poverty measures and land reform, though his tenure was marked by economic difficulty and increasing political opposition. Ferdinand Marcos was elected president in 1965, and re-elected in 1969, the first to serve 2 full terms. Amid growing civil unrest, economic decline, and accusations of corruption, Marcos declared martial law in 1972, citing threats from communist and separatist movements. Under martial law, Marcos ruled by decree, dissolved Congress, and suppressed dissent. While some infrastructure projects were completed, and foreign investments rose, the era was also characterized by massive human rights abuses, crony capitalism, and accumulation of wealth by the ruling family and their allies. Opposition grew, especially after the assassination of Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. in 1983. His death galvanized public sentiment, leading to the 1986 People Power Revolution. Millions gathered at the EDSA in a peaceful uprising that ousted Marcos and restored democracy. Corazon Aquino became president and worked to rebuild democratic institutions. A new constitution was ratified in 1987, establishing term limits and protections for civil liberties. Her administration faced multiple coup attempts and challenges in dealing with insurgencies and economic recovery. Fidel V. Ramos, 1992 to 1998, succeeded Aquino, promoting political stability, economic liberalization, and infrastructure development. His administration is often credited with ushering in a period of relative peace and growth. Joseph Estrada was elected in 1998 but was ousted in 2001 due to corruption scandals and rising public discontent. The second EDSA uprising, known as EDSA-DOS, installed his vice president, Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, as president. Arroyo's presidency from 2001 to 2010 focused on economic reforms but was marred by corruption allegations and political crises. Despite this, the economy experienced growth and increased remittances from overseas Filipino workers, bolstered national income. Benigno Aquino III, 2010 to 2016, emphasized good governance, transparency, and the fight against corruption. His administration was praised for steady economic performance and international legal victory over China in the South China Sea arbitration case. Rodrigo Duterte, 2016 to 2022, implemented a controversial war on drugs that drew international criticism for human rights violations. Launched as a centerpiece of his administration, the anti-drug campaign focused on eradicating illegal narcotics and dismantling criminal networks. Thousands of suspected drug users and pushers were killed in police operations and vigilante-style attacks. Human rights groups accused the government of extrajudicial killings and a climate of impunity, while Duterte defended the campaign as necessary for national security and public safety. Despite condemnation from international organizations, the war on drugs enjoyed significant domestic support, especially among those affected by drug-related crimes. Duterte also pursued a foreign policy shift toward China and infrastructure development under the Build, Build program. Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., son of the former dictator, was elected president in 2022. His presidency has so far focused on economic recovery, improving agricultural productivity, and balancing relations with the US and China. On March 11, 2025, former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested at Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Manila, upon his return from Hong Kong. The arrest was executed by the Philippine National Police and Interpol under an international criminal court warrant, charging him with crimes against humanity related to his administration's war on drugs. Following his arrest, Duterte was transferred to the Netherlands, where he is currently in custody awaiting trial at the ICC, in The Hague. Despite his detention, Duterte has filed to run for mayor of Davao City in the upcoming midterm elections, a position he previously held for over 2 decades. If elected, his son, Sebastian Duterte, is expected to assume the role in his stead. The arrest has intensified political tensions in the Philippines, particularly between the Duterte and Marcos families. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s administration facilitated the arrest, leading to a rift with Vice President Sara Duterte, who is currently facing an impeachment trial on charges including plotting against the president and corruption. Public reaction to Duterte's arrest has been polarized. Human rights organizations have hailed it as a significant step toward accountability, while supporters in regions like Mindanao and the Visayas have organized protests opposing the arrest. The event marks a historic moment, as Duterte becomes the first former Asian leader to be detained by the ICC. The modern-day Philippines is marked by political realignment, economic recovery efforts, and rising geopolitical tensions. After the divisive Duterte presidency, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., son of former dictator Ferdinand Marcos, won a landslide victory in the 2022 elections, signaling both a political comeback for the Marcos family and a shift in public sentiment. President Marcos Jr. has emphasized economic recovery in the post-pandemic landscape. His administration launched initiatives to stabilize food prices, improve agricultural self-sufficiency, and attract foreign investment. However, challenges such as inflation, climate-related disasters, and slow infrastructure rollouts persist. Governance under Marcos Jr. has also faced criticism for its lack of transparency and heavy reliance on legacy politics, though it has avoided the overt authoritarianism of his father's regime. The Philippines has adopted a more balanced foreign policy. While maintaining economic ties with China, especially on trade and infrastructure, the Marcos government has reasserted its alliance with the United States, particularly on security matters. Joint military drills have expanded, and tensions in the South China Sea remain a central concern. The Philippines' stance is increasingly viewed as a strategic balancing act between two superpowers. The arrest of Rodrigo Duterte in March 2025 for crimes against humanity marked a watershed moment. Facilitated by President Marcos Jr.'s cooperation with the International Criminal Court, the arrest has polarized the nation and reshaped political dynamics. Human rights advocates have welcomed the move, while Duterte loyalists see it as political retribution. Vice President Sara Duterte's concurrent impeachment trial has further escalated tensions within the ruling coalition. Modern Filipino society continues to grapple with inequality, education reform, and access to healthcare. At the same time, the digital economy is expanding, driven by a tech-savvy youth population. Overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, remain a key economic pillar through remittances, and cultural pride continues to grow through global recognition of Filipino talent in music, film, and sports. The Philippines remains highly vulnerable to climate change. Rising sea levels, stronger typhoons, and environmental degradation threaten millions. Recent administrations have acknowledged the urgency of climate resilience, but implementation of sustainable policies remains inconsistent and underfunded. Modern-day Manila, the capital of the Philippines and its most densely populated city, is a complex and dynamic metropolis at the heart of the nation's political, economic, and cultural life. As part of the larger national capital region, commonly known as Metro Manila, the city embodies the stark contrasts of contemporary urban Philippines, combining historical heritage with rapid modernization and wealth with deep-seated poverty. Manila continues to expand as a center of commerce, finance, and services. Major business districts like Makati, Bonifacio Global City, and Ortigas showcase high-rise buildings, luxury shopping centers, and multinational headquarters. However, the city also struggles with urban sprawl, outdated infrastructure, and traffic congestion that ranks among the worst in the world. The rise of the business process outsourcing industry has made Manila a global hub for IT and customer services, contributing significantly to the national GDP. Despite economic progress, Manila is home to stark inequalities. Gated communities and modern condominiums exist beside sprawling informal settlements. Millions live in overcrowded barangays, neighborhoods, with limited access to clean water, sanitation, and healthcare. Urban poverty remains a critical issue, exacerbated by rising living costs and limited affordable housing. Manila remains a vibrant cultural hub, blending Spanish colonial architecture, for example, intramuros, American-era institutions, and indigenous Filipino traditions. Museums, art galleries, music festivals, and street food markets reflect the city's diverse identity. It is also a political nerve center, with Malacanang Palace, the presidential residence, and the Philippine Congress located within Metro Manila. Efforts to improve public transport include the expansion of the metro rail transit and light rail transit systems, and a shift towards sustainable mobility. Nevertheless, flooding, poor air quality, and limited green spaces pose ongoing environmental challenges. The Pasig River, once a vital artery, remains heavily polluted despite rehabilitation attempts. Following the pandemic, Manila has seen a return to economic activity but continues to grapple with healthcare disparities, educational gaps, and mental health issues. The city is central to the government's infrastructure plans under Build, Better, More, aiming to modernize public transit and revitalize urban spaces. The Filipino people today are a tapestry of resilience, diversity, and enduring spirit. Numbering over 110 million, Filipinos are known globally for their warmth, adaptability, and strong sense of community, qualities shaped by centuries of colonial influence, natural disasters, and social change.